Alright, so I wanted to make this video because I just watched, when I get off from work, usually I come home, take a shower, decompress, and I watch some political videos. And I know you're thinking, like, decompress? Political videos? But it's my thing, okay? Hey, I'm into it. And I consider myself to be, I guess, independent voter, I don't belong to any parties. I do tend to lean very left, very, very left. So I've voted Green Party before. I've voted Peace and Freedom Party before. But I've never voted for a Democrat. I've never voted for a Republican. So I don't consider myself to be, like, I'm very third party committed, right? And so when I watch political videos, I don't want to watch someone who is diehard Democrat or diehard Republican. I'm not either. I'm not on either side, so I don't want to be watching that. I want to watch something that's like kind of, reasonable. Like, I feel like the media is so biased. Like, it is clear as day that the media is biased, especially the mainstream media. Like, it's clear as day. Certain networks are Democratic, certain networks are Republican. And at the end of the day, it's the same setup. They look the same. They're dressed the same. They're all talking. Like, it's this illusion of choice, right? That red or blue is the one, but they both adhere to the same oligarchs. They both adhere to the same, corporations and shit. And that's the fucking truth. Like, so if your politics is not rooted there, then I'm not for you, or you're not for me, right? So that's why I watch different commentators. And one of the commentators I watch is Savvy Savs. I can't remember her last name, but her name is Sabrina. And I fuck with her because she is very left, right? She is on the left, but she is very principled, very radical in her beliefs. And also, I've seen her grow over time in her beliefs. Like, I feel like that is the missing element in, like, the political back and forth. Like, people evolve and they grow. And maybe they go to the right, maybe they go to the left, maybe they grow out of the system altogether. But you can't condemn people for their lack of growth. Whether you believe what you believe, and that's your, right to believe whatever you want to believe, but you can't shame people because they don't believe the same things you believe, or they're not voting the same way that you think they should vote. Like, that's just not what we should do as a society. So if people aren't understanding that, and I feel like that's the most clearest when it's an election year. And when it's a presidential election year, because everybody is like tuned in, everybody's behind their person or whatever. And so today I watched Savvy, and I also watched this dude, Anton Daniels, and he is more conservative, right? He is definitely more conservative leaning. But they both today or maybe today or yesterday, they both put out videos about that featured Dr. Umar Johnson. And if you don't know who Dr. Umar Johnson is, it's probably not for you to know, but niggas know who Umar Johnson is. And he is such a polarizing figure on the right and the left. Like, no one is really, like, always, like, fucking with him, right? So he is just this kind of out there pan-Africanist, like, conservative, like, so, like, he is this thing, right? But he made a video talking about how celebrities, I'm talking about black celebrities, are, like, kind of, like, shaming people into voting for Kamala. And Savvy talked about how, people are definitely trying to act like, black people are misinformed or low information, because they don't want to vote for Kamala, right? And it's like, even though these two sides don't agree on everything, and they definitely don't always agree with Umar, all three sides are saying the same thing, though. That we need to hold our vote in exchange for tangible things for our community. Which is, like, bare basic what voting is about. Voting is about making a stand or, coming together collectively to say, this is what we value and this is what needs to be done. And if you're not going to do what needs to be done, you don't deserve our vote. You don't. I don't care what side you're on. And I feel like, like I said, I've never voted for Democrats or Republicans. So I feel very objective in my, commentary. They both lean on, low-hanging fruit of their constituents. So I feel like the Democrats' low-hanging fruit is representation and, making everyone feel seen and heard and valued, right? And that's all symbolism. It's all symbolism because it's not in their policies. It's not reflected in their policies. It's reflected in their symbolism. It's reflected in their candidate. It's reflected in, their comms director and who, that's what they value, right? Or that's what they're kind of projecting to me, base. And then the Republicans, mainly white, mainly rural, maybe conservative, they're longing for a used to time, right? And this is where, so they, pander to that. And this is where there is overlap, right? Because they both have to pander to their respective communities. That's what I'm saying. These are they appear to be different sides, but they're definitely doing the same thing on both sides. And it doesn't matter who wins. Israel's going to get hella money. Ukraine's going to get hella money. The military-industrial complex is going to get hella... it doesn't matter who wins. That's just for us and our, trivialness. And that's why it's so sad to see people shame people for who they're voting for. Okay, are there a lot of loud mouths out there? Yes. This is the internet for, everyone's welcome here. But at the end of the day, people know what has happened. Well, not everyone, but people who are millennial age people who have seen the last 30 years of public policy in your lifetime, from when you was a child to now you are, and your community. And I feel very lucky because I still live where I grew up. So I vividly know what it was like when I was a child versus what it's like now. And it is so much worse now. It is so much less of us here. It's so much more of us on the streets. It's so much more just degradation of our community. I feel I always tell people I live in East Oakland, and East Oakland is the last motherfucking frontier. Not that there's not gentrification happening, because it's definitely on my block, but I feel this is the last part where there's a significant black community. And so, especially right now, because our district is also, the city council is up for this election. So there's some shit that's gonna happen to my neighborhood, my district and my city, and that's what the fuck I'm concerned about. I'm not concerned about what the fucking council person looks like. I don't care what fraternity, sorority they're in. I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. What the fuck are you gonna do to make my district, community, city better than it is? Because it's not, and I'm not saying like things back 30 years ago weren't bad too, and I'm sure your parents, grandparents remember a time as well. We gotta wake up, and we gotta see things more objectively, more clearly, less in our feelings. Like, that's why I was so, like, the fact that they all the conservatives, the leftists, Umar and me all feel the same way about politicians and voting. Like, I feel like that's where you build the coalition, right? I'm not saying that I agree with any of these other people on everything. We gotta learn how to chew the fat and spit the bones. Like, we really don't have much more time to just be like thinking, oh, everyone's gonna be on this side, and if they're not on that side, then they're demonized. That demonization, like, why do people stop being a human being to you, worthy of, life and liberty and, all this American shit? But why is there such, like, oh my God, I found out they were a Trump supporter, so I can never talk to them again? These are your, like, family members, like, and that might be another video. Like, we definitely have a lot of discord in our families and our communities. But we need each other right now. We need each other, and so we gotta like learn how to reach out and go across the aisle where we may not agree on everything. I think if one thing we could learn is just some basic like respect, some basic respect. I respect you as a human being. I don't have to agree with your lifestyle. I don't have to subscribe to your beliefs, but I respect you as a human being, as a black person, and we share this collective legacy of being black people in America, and we should make our situation better by withholding our vote for someone who's going to like speak to our concerns. If they're not even speaking to our concerns, and Umar, it's so crazy to say, but Umar brought up a good point about how like they don't bring out like they don't come talking about Trump and Kamala, like they don't come to speak to us. They don't come to have community listening sessions. They don't talk to us. They send out entertainers. They send out like celebrities, and that's supposed to like placate us. And that's what I'm saying. That plays to that low hanging fruit of people who are just like, oh yeah, I love Meg Thee Stallion, and I do. Don't get me wrong, I like Meg Thee Stallion, but I would rather somebody who knows the fuck they talking about come to the fucking rally and ask and advocate for us, advocate for what our needs are and shit. So yeah, I just wanted to make that video. I need to learn how to like clip videos and stuff because I think that would make my content a lot better. But you're just gonna get what I can do right now.